This month, more than a dozen women will be inducted into the Colorado Women's Hall of Fame, and one of them is Ruth Cousins Denny. Ruth's daughter Diane is here now to tell us about her mother's story. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
I was reading about your mom. She's pretty incredible and very inspiring. So she was a teacher in Denver for 26 years, and she was really instrumental in ending segregation when it came to schools and businesses. Tell us a little bit about her story.
Well, she came from St. Louis, Missouri. She got her bachelor's degree at Harris Stowe Teachers College, taught a couple of years in St. Louis, and then she and my father, my brother and I moved to Denver because my father worked for the Air Force Finance Accounting Center, and they had a choice of going to Indianapolis or Denver. She chose Denver because she thought Denver did not have discrimination and that it was a utopia. And then when she got here, she found out otherwise.
Yeah, that was not the case. I was reading something about how she went to a movie theater, and that was one of the first times she realized that it was not what she thought it was going to be, right?
Right. She went to the movies with a couple of teacher friends, and she started to go sit down, and they said, "No, you can't sit down here. We have to sit up in the peanut gallery." And so she was appalled. She had no idea. She knew coming from St. Louis about discrimination, but she just thought Denver was a different place.
And then times, I mean, talk about how times have really changed because she was able to see President Obama become the first black president, right?
Yeah, she was absolutely amazed. Yeah. She thought that it wouldn't happen in her lifetime. And so when it happened, she was just beyond words. She was just thrilled because that's what she had worked for, is to see people of color be able to attain anything that they wanted to achieve in the United States.
Yeah. She was a big part of CORE, so tell us about CORE and then how she was integral in that as well.
Well, she and a friend from St. Louis started the Congress of Racial Equality in Denver because of the discrimination that each of them faced personally in their lives, and they rounded up other people. Congress of Racial Equality was a national organization, and they had different branches. My mother was the first woman black woman who was the chair of a Congress of Racial Equality. We believe in the whole country. We know she was here. We're trying to do research because we think it's in the whole country. So there you'll see, I became a judge in Denver County Court. Wow. And I attribute that to my mother. She wanted to go to law school, but she could not. In her day, it was just an impossibility.
I love that picture of you two together there. So you're going to be accepting this award on her behalf. What does that mean to you? How does that feel?
It means everything to me because I promised her in her last days of her life that she would not be forgotten and that her story would be told.
Well, and look at you here today. I mean, her story is inspiring. What she endured, what she saw, and the progress that was made in her lifetime continues today. And so she definitely is so deserving.
Thank you. You know, she worked hard. She dedicated her whole life to equality for all people. That was her whole life. When she was a child, her mother was widowed, my grandmother, with 5 young children, and worked for a very wealthy white family that owned the International Shoe Company. And after a hard day at work, my grandmother took my mother to the market, and they wouldn't wait on my grandmother. That's what spurred it.
Wow.
My mother was only 5 or 6 years old, but she was appalled that her mother had worked so hard and they would not wait on her.
Wow.
And that's when she started to stand up.
Yeah.
She stood up as a 5-year-old and said, "My mother's next."
Well, she was incredible, incredible leader, and her story is just amazing. I'm glad that you could come on and tell us a little bit about your mom, obviously. Very proud, as you should be. So the induction ceremony is happening this Wednesday at 5:30 at the Sheraton Hotel downtown. You can get tickets on the Colorado Women's Hall of Fame website. And again, congrats to your mom. I'm so glad that you're there to pick up the award for her. She'd be very proud of what you were doing, too.
Well, thank you, and I'm proud of her legacy, and it goes on.
Yeah,
it goes on.
Incredible. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.